Good day everyone, Frank here. I have received a lot of questions about the paint job I did on my front door, and so therefore I thought I would do a video, and I made some notes here as well. And so rather than just get into painting the door, everyone knows how to paint. I think what's more important is the prep you do, what happens during the process and post-process, and that's what I'm going to talk about. So the first thing is you have to select your paint. For a door this size with a window in it, it's not a lot of square footage. In fact, it's less than 8. And I just bought this tiny little can of paint, and that was enough to do 2 full coats, plus there's around a third of it left over. This is just a 237 milliliter size. For tools, of course, you'll need the paint, the primer, the extra fine, like 200 to 400 grit sandpaper, and of course the roller. The first decision you have to make is whether you want to spray it on or whether you want to paint it on. I chose paint because I was not in a position to leave my door off for 3 to 4 days, because believe me, that's what you're going to need, and after you listen to what I have to say, you'll understand. So I chose to leave the door in place and to paint it in place. First and foremost, because of that, and because of the paint itself, before you start painting, couple tips. Number one, check the weather. Make sure you're going to have 3 to 4 days of nice weather where there's no rain. Secondly, if you have plans for the weekend or to do things sporadically throughout the weekend, you might want to cancel them, because this requires a lot of attention and you're not going to be able to go anywhere for 3 or 4 days, especially if you take the door off. To prep the door, of course, first thing you do is wash it, and then you give it a good sanding. And you don't want to over sand because you will scratch the door. So again, use our 200 to 400 grit. This is a 400 grit, and you can see all those tiny little pieces on it. That means the sandpaper has done its job in collecting tiny little bubbles or pieces of dirt. I mean, prior to sanding it, I looked at it and I said it doesn't need a sanding, but it actually did need a sanding, so very important. After you sand it, of course, wipe it down, and then after that, what you need to do is prime it. A good primer is Bullseye 123. You apply the primer and you let the primer dry for 24 hours. As for the painting itself, you begin to paint the door with the roller. After the first coat, you basically let it dry for 24 hours. You must let it dry for 24 hours. This isn't like regular paint. After an hour, you can touch it and use it. In fact, it's going to remain tacky for up to 6 to 8 hours. So don't even start trying to touch it, because you're going to leave a finger mark. Okay, again, you just need a small can. You should work fast with your roller. Try to avoid extensive overlaps, and if you do overlap, just kind of gently rub it in. After the first coat is on, you must let it dry for 24 hours, and don't cheat. Let it dry for 24 hours, and then you do your second coat. After the second coat, after around 7 or 8 hours, do a touch test. If it's sort of dry and it feels dry to the finger, then I want you to remove your painter's tape. And when removing the painter's tape, just be patient and go slow, and it will all come off. I had 2 tiny little tears around this whole frame, and it's because I just took my time. And if you need to, and if it's over dry, you can just take a X-Acto knife and sort of score where you are removing the tape. Again, let it dry for 24 hours. You will have to close the door at night, of course. And so what you can do is, to avoid the door sticking to the inside frame, just take a very thin layer of Vaseline using your finger and spread it all around the door. Make sure it's very, very thin, and this will prevent the paint from sticking to the frame of the door. Something else I did is, during this process, I did have to go run an errand or two locally. So what I did was I just took some garbage bags and I covered the front of the door. I took 3 bags and I taped it off, and that protected the door while I was away. Anyway, that's it. I just want to share these tips with you. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact me, or just place them in the comments section, and that way everyone can see them. Thanks. Have a good day. Bye.